This year's sugar yield below expectations. A challenge thrown out to SJPI students. And in sports, Steve Smith leads the Aussies to another World Cup warm-up victory.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom, and this is News Night. In our top story tonight, when the sugar crop grinds to an end next Thursday, officials expect that only about 8,500 tons of canes would have been harvested. This is about 30% lower than was originally projected and well off the approximately 13,000 tons recorded last year. Agriculture Minister Indar Weir says there are a few reasons for the shortfall.
The crop last year started late, so we missed a lot of the rain. Remember, you need rain in order for sugarcane to grow and for you to get the best yield from it. If a crop is delayed for any reason, then you're going to miss a lot of the rain. And then that coupled with the extended drought periods that we had made it difficult for us to get back to the yields that we had last year.
Well, asked what were the negative impacts Barbados could feel as a result of the shortfall, Minister Weir says the loss of foreign exchange is not the main concern going forward. He says Barbados has to start looking at what its unique characteristics are in relation to sugar and find ways to benefit from them.
Last year started late, so we missed a lot of the rain. Remember, you need rain in order for sugarcane to grow and for you to get the best yield from it. If a crop is delayed for any reason, then you're going to miss a lot of the rain. And then that coupled with the extended drought periods that we had made it difficult for us to get back to the yields that we had last year.
It's believed that the rum industry can earn at least $1 billion in foreign exchange annually for Barbados by 2030, and efforts are on to start making changes at the Bridgetown port to achieve that. This is in response to concerns raised by officials from the island's largest rum exporter, West Indies Rum Distilleries, including the current working hours, a lack of berthing space, and other inefficiencies at the port. And they say those are making it difficult for them to do better. Well, yesterday, Minister of Maritime Affairs Kirk Humphrey, Chairman of the Bridgetown Port Inc., Senator Lisa Cummins, and the principals from the West Indies Rum Distilleries toured the rum makers' operation at the port. Senator Cummins says the port is actively working on solutions to some of the problems.
This is one of many engagements that we have been having with the business community. We have been engaging with many of our stakeholders, trying to identify what are the problems, what are the bottlenecks, what are the cost-related issues, and then attempting to put measures in place. I think one of the things you would have heard us say earlier is that we are attempting to work along with our colleagues in the private sector under the umbrella of our trade facilitation agenda to look at all of these issues so that within the next year, you are going to be hearing a very different conversation taking place in Barbados from our business community if we get this right, and we're committed to doing just that.
As Barbados heads toward its goal of 100% renewable energy by 2030, young people have been urged to lead the charge. Energy Minister Wilfred Abrams has issued a special challenge to students of the Samuel Jackman Prescott Institute of Technology. It happened during the commissioning ceremony for the solar photovoltaic system at that institution. Lorna Jones has more.
Over the next decade or so, the government will be working towards 100% renewable energy. With this goal in mind, and with dozens of the Transport Board's fleet of diesel buses currently out of commission, Energy Minister Wilfred Abrams has issued a special challenge to SJPI students. He wants them to retrofit some of those diesel buses to run on electricity.
I want the challenge to be for SJPI to be able to convert those buses in an efficient way, that we don't have to bring in hundreds of new buses, that we can retrofit what we already have. It A, saves money, it B, develops your student, and it C, enhances the capacity in Barbados. Because if we get that done in Barbados, there's no reason we cannot export that now to the rest of the Caribbean and become the hub for changing them out.
Minister Abrams was speaking at the commissioning ceremony for the SJPI's solar photovoltaic system, installed under the public sector Smart Energy Program. The 42 PV panels, installed on 8 buildings in the Institute's classroom village, are expected to generate 200,000 kilowatt hours of energy annually, with potential earnings of $85,000 per year. SJPI is also celebrating its 50th anniversary, and Principal Ian Drakes says their focus is modernizing and transforming the institution. He revealed they are courting various private sector partnerships to this end.
We have been told, and we have listened very closely to our Honorable Prime Minister, gone are the days of a handshake from the private sector. It is what we can do together.
SJPI has been on board with the renewable energy wave for some time, offering 2 courses in the area since 2014. Acting Education Minister Senator Lucille Moore says the PV system, along with these courses, will bring big benefits for the institution and its students.
There is a large amount of money spent by education in energy and energy sources. And so this project is one that will allow us to continue to do what we are committed in doing, and that's to reduce our own energy outputs, and this certainly will assist. It certainly will also assist the students, as I think Mr. Abrams very ably explained, in terms of giving them a skill that is a lifelong skill, and certainly a skill that is usable and will continue to be usable for a very long time.
The switch for the PV system was officially flipped by student Chanel Carter. Lorna Jones, CBC News.
Thanks, Lorna. And we're hearing now that police are carrying out investigations into the circumstances which resulted in the death of 63-year-old Torrance Eastman of Roberts Road, Haggett Hall in St. Michael. His nude body was taken from the waters at East Coast Road, St. Andrew this morning. About 9:42, police responded to a report from an anonymous caller about a body floating at East Coast. Over the past 40 to 50 years, Barbados has seen an alarming increase in obesity and non-communicable diseases across all segments of its population. The revelation was made by Senior Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Arthur Phillips, at the launch of the Heart and Stroke Foundation's mass media campaign, Switch It Up, Protect Our Children. Officials remain concerned about the low levels of physical activity, the high levels of consumption of sugar beverages and food prepared outside of the home. Dr. Phillips says obesity in the youth is associated with a significantly increased risk of obesity in adulthood.
We recognize and refer to research that demonstrates that obesity and overweight in childhood contributes to the development of negative health outcomes, both in the short and the long term. In the short term, we have issues related to quality of life, and in the longer term, other issues. We talk about the chronic non-communicable diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease, as well as cancers such as colorectal, kidney, and breast. Ultimately, we realize that obesity is a major cause of impaired health and premature death, affecting millions of individuals.
And Dr. Phillips is telling Barbadians that by preventing obesity, they will increase the number of years of good health.
When we look at the impacts and we look at the costs, we realize that intervening has costs now, and that the benefits may come in the longer term. But we have to make the choice to allocate the resources for the sake of our nation. To not intervene is not an option. So although the burden is huge and the causation is complex, we have to intervene, because that gives us our best chance of lowering the impacts of obesity and its consequences.
Members of the Cape Shepherd All-Stars Calypso tent are not daunted by the format change in the Pickety Crop competition this year. In fact, tent manager Eleanor Rice-Watkins has promised patrons that they can expect the same high quality of music that they've grown accustomed to over the years. Ms. Rice-Watkins was speaking during the official press launch at title sponsor Cape Shepherd's Bridgetown location. She says the tent will continue to live up to its name.
In light of the one song for the finals, which the NCF has announced, questions have been asked about how many songs will each Calypsonian sing on the night in our tent. I can tell you that presently there are Calypsonians who are rehearsing 2 songs as per usual. However, because of the number of Calypsonians, some of the cast will perform 1 song, while others will perform 2. We aim to maintain the same high standard and quality which is expected of the Cave Shepherd All-Stars Calypso tent.
The first show comes off on June 1st at the St. Gabriel's School. In the lineup this year are Colin Spencer, Donella, Kidsight, Aishaka, Shawnee, Structure, Troy Special, Sammy Dello, and others. Mel's Beauty School and Salon is another of the tent's sponsors, and Managing Director Melissa Clemens has encouraged all small businesses to offer support as well.
As an entrepreneur and a small business person, I find coming onto the crop over scene, it is great mileage. I always say to other small business person, get on board, because you maximize on this kind of culture, this kind of event in terms of advertising. And I say to all small business person, all entrepreneur out there, get on the crop over scene.
Well, Venezuelans in Trinidad and Tobago, legally or illegally, are being encouraged to register during the amnesty period announced by the government. The amnesty runs from May 31st to June 14th, as we hear from CNC3 television.
Come next Friday, only 3 locations will offer some hope to thousands of Venezuelan nationals. Now, it's 2 less than the 5 originally announced by government, but from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a period of 2 weeks, migrants who are in this country, legally or not, will be allowed to register and receive an ID card that legitimizes their immigration status. But National Security Minister Stuart Young warns it's mandatory.
Come the 15th of June, what is going to happen to persons who have not taken part in this registration process is we revert back to the law and the enforcement of the law as it currently stands.
Here's how it'll work. A bilingual registration form will be available online to be filled out beforehand. When these nationals turn up at the registration centers, they will be fingerprinted and their information cross-checked against Venezuelan and Interpol databases. Medical checks will also be done. Upon completion, a receipt will be provided for collection of the registration card, which Minister Young says comes with security features. Those cards will not be provided to children 16 and under, though they are mandated to register.